Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of Key Race Alert. Today I'm going to be analyzing Ohio's Senate elections. So we have a retiring incumbent, Rob Portman, a very popular incumbent. Is in 2016. He won his Senate election by 21 points, and he has been the senator for a pretty long time. Now in 2022, after he retired, we have a lot of candidates that we have to get to who have announced that they are running for the Senate race. So we'll start with the Republican primary. We have the top 5, I'll say 4 or 5. I mean, we've got 4 people down here. We have J.D. Vance, an author from Cincinnati, Ohio. We have the former Ohio GOP chair, Jane Timken from Canton, Ohio. We have the former state treasurer, Josh Mandel from Beechwood, Ohio. And then we have State Senator Matt Dolan from Chagrin Falls. And then he's not one of the 4 people listed there, but Mike Gibbons, who is also a guy who is very much in this primary. He was a candidate in 2018, so people know who he is. And he's also the 5th guy we're going to be looking at. So let me just talk about why and how I think that any of these out of these 5 people could get the nomination. So J.D. Vance, probably going to be popular in the suburbs, along with, really all 5 are going to be popular in the suburbs, but J.D. Vance is going to be more popular. People are going to know him. He's an author. People read his books that he's written. He writes articles, I believe, and people read those. They know who he is. And then the other 4 have held state positions. So, they really haven't held state positions. Mike Gibbons hasn't, but the other 3 have. Jane Timken, she was the GOP chair. People know her. State Treasurer Josh Mandel, people know him. And then State Senator Matt Dolan, not as well known as, he doesn't get elected statewide. He gets elected in his district. But still, I think that Matt Dolan will probably be popular, especially around his district. And definitely in that part of Ohio. And then Mike Gibbons, he's an investment banker. I was looking because it said U.S. Senate. U.S. Senate I refer to as, state Senate. But yeah, but he is a banker. He definitely also has a shot if you look to predict it. I'm not going to pull it up. You guys can go look at it yourself. I'll put the link in the description. But on Predict It, he actually is leading over Jane Timken, J.D. Vance, Josh Mandel, and Matt Dolan. And then the next part, from Predict It is the polls. But before I do that, I'll look at the endorsements. So notable people, Matt Dolan. Matt Dolan doesn't really have a lot of endorsements from Washington. It's all state senators, state representatives, local offices, and newspapers. And then go down to Mike Gibbons. He was endorsed by Rand Paul. Josh Mandel, he was endorsed by Senators Mike Lee and Cynthia Lummis, and Representatives Madison Cawthorn and David McIntosh. And then he was also endorsed by the U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman. And then Jane Timken was endorsed by Kirsty Noem, governor of South Dakota. She was endorsed by Senator Shelley Moore Capito, Senator Joni Ernst, Senator Deb Fischer, and Senator Rob Portman. And then she was endorsed by Representative Bob Gibbs and Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik is a big endorsement because she took, I don't know if you know this, but Liz Cheney, who you may know, she was ousted from her seat in the Republican representatives, chair or something. And Elise Stefanik took her seat, and Elise Stefanik endorsing Jane Timken is a big, big, big endorsement. And then we'll scroll down here. J.D. Vance, endorsed by Josh Hawley and Representatives Jim Banks, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's endorsement is also very, very big. And then we don't really need to look at this Bernie guy. And now we'll get to the polling. So this is the poll from Real Clear Politics. It has Mike Gibbons leading And Josh Mandel is in second. J.D. Vance is in third. Jane Timken in fourth. And Matt Dolan in fifth. We look at Fox News. Fox News has Mike Gibbons winning. Emerson College has not Fox News. Mike Gibbons winning. Fabrizio Lee has Mike Gibbons winning. Signal has Mike Gibbons winning. The Trafalgar Group actually has Josh Mandel winning, and Coefficient has Mike Gibbons leading. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can just take a quick look. A lot of them have Mike Gibbons leading, and then it just kind of switches. And, like 2021, you've got Josh Mandel, and none of these have J.D. Vance, which I used in my upcoming Senate election night, which will be coming out this week. Stay tuned for that. But anyways, it's really Josh Mandel, and then for some reason, something happens around, February 3rd when Bernie Moreno withdrew from the race. I guess he might have been holding up some Mike Gibbons vote. I don't know. But the most recent poll has Mike Gibbons winning 22% of the primary, J.D. Vance coming in third. And it's just a little confusing to see, what happened there. There's really no explanation, but maybe Bernie Moreno's, voters were, the second option was Mike Gibbons. And then after that, actually, that's probably the most popular reason why, is that Bernie Moreno's supporters, their second option, if he withdrew, is Mike Gibbons. So I think that could have been why, but it's really been Mike Gibbons only for about a month. Josh Mandel held the polls for most of 2021 and some of 2022, and now it's Mike Gibbons who looks like he will get the nomination. And then we can scroll down to the Democratic primary. So the three people who I'm going to be looking at is Morgan Harper, a senior advisor from Columbus, and Tracy Johnson, an activist and tech executive, and then Tim Ryan, the probable guy who will get the nomination, is a U.S. representative for Ohio's 13th district. And then he, which makes him even more well-known in Ohio, he was a candidate for president in 2020. As you may know, the campaign didn't go so well, as he's not the president sitting in the White House right now, but he probably will get the nomination. Morgan Harper doesn't have a lot of big endorsements, but Tim Ryan is the guy that has a lot of endorsements. So he has the endorsement from Ted Strickland. If you recall back at the beginning when we looked at the 2016 election, he was the guy who was nominated by the Ohio Democrats to face Rob Portman, but he lost big time. And then also, I just skipped over her, but I didn't realize Hillary Clinton endorsed Tim Ryan, which is also really big. And then Senators Jeff Merkley and Sherrod Brown, that's a big one, from Ohio, endorsed him. And then we also have Representatives Joyce Beasley, John Boshiri, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Marcy Kaptur, and Zach Space. And then he has so many endorsements. And then if you look at the polling, it's just one poll, not really talking about anything because it's not really that big of a primary. The Republican primary is the bigger one. But Tim Ryan, as you can see there, gets 31% according to Emerson College, which the poll was administered about 2 weeks ago. And that's why I would say that most likely Tim Ryan will get the nomination. And then we could look at the third-party candidates. We have Stephen Ferris, a candidate for the Senate in 2018. He was a write-in. We have Eric Meering, an independent. And then independent Sam Ronan. He is a veteran and candidate for Ohio's 1st District in 2018. These candidates probably won't do a lot, but most likely it's going to be Stephen Ferris, just because he was a write-in, probably going to get the third most votes. Also, Sam Ronan and Eric Meering will probably be 4th and 5th. And then we look at the polling for the races, the most recent one, administered on January 10th, 2022 by RCP, has it as lean R. Sabatos Cristobal has it as likely R from November 3rd. Inside Elections has solid R, safe R, in a poll from January. And then the Cook Political Report has a poll from November saying that it would be lean R. Now, also a cool thing here is it also can show what it would look like Tim Ryan versus different candidates. So it has Josh Mandel beating Tim Ryan, Tim Ryan beating Jane Timken. The most recent polls though were back in August, so not really that accurate. And then actually all of these really aren't that accurate because the most recent polls were in August. But I would expect that Tim Ryan does lose against Josh Mandel, Jane Timken, or JD Vance, or Mike Gibbons, or really anyone else. So now it's time for me to make my prediction in Ohio's Senate race. I've been talking about, the primaries, but you guys, I know, want to see who I think will win the Senate nomination. So as you can see here, I have marked Ohio as a likely R. I think that most likely, whether it's Jane Timken or Mike Gibbons or anyone else, I think that it's probably going to be likely R. It's because Tim Ryan is not going to be, he's not the best candidate. Even though he got the Hillary Clinton endorsement, he's just not the best candidate, and especially with Ohio's suburbs trending to the right and Ohio really itself trending to the right. I think that Republicans will have between 5 and 10 margin for Ohio in the 2022 Senate elections. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe. I am so close to 400 subscribers, and I want to get there by the end of March. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.